welcome to Cooking with Z. Sorry it's back in my little kitchen instead of being with Christine again. Oh man, that was so much fun. But she promised we can do more Cooking with Z videos at her place. Gonna try a bunch more things. So tonight for dinner I'm going to roast a chicken, and I got a fresh chicken and I took him out of his bag and I rinsed him off, and you always want to check in the inside to make sure that there's no innards or leftover stuff left inside him. So rinse him off and then put him in your baking dish, and you can season him lots of ways in any way you want. This is one of my favorite recipes. So I'm going to use rosemary, a lemon, salt and pepper, and I'm going to take, let's see, I got a little bit of butter, like probably 1 tablespoon, and I'm going to crush up the butter and lemons in here. Instead of chopping up the rosemary really fine and stuff, I'm actually just going to leave it big and then take my pesto mortar thing and like crush it up so that the leaves get all broken, and you'll have a lot more flavor that way. And a little trick that I saw, I think on like one of Tyler Florence, I think is the name of the chef, his videos, instead of just stuffing everything inside the chicken and like you want the flavors to steam that way, you can actually take your fingers and make a layer between, or separate the skin from the meat, and then you can push your butter mixture up inside the chicken, so that way like all the flavors will be marinating the breast, and then it's like kind of covered by the skin, so it's a bit more protected and a lot more moisture stays in, and it's like really delish. So I've got my oven on at 175, again just baking, normal baking temperatures, and we're going to like start getting some of the ingredients together, and I'll show you how to like separate the skin from the meat and stuff. And no matter what flavors you want to put in there, like that's a great way to get the flavors you want to marinate your chicken with, get that in there. So I don't think that made much sense, but what else I'm going to make for dinner is just some rice. I'm going to do the rice pilaf thing. I'm going to be chopping an onion, frying it, adding in some wild rice and brown rice, putting in a chicken bouillon cube and just letting it boil. And lazily I just got a bag of salad. So I figured it was so much work with the roasting chicken and making like a fancy dinner, so I can be a little bit more lazy and don't have to prep everything else and make it all nice. Okay, let's get started. I've got one big stalk of rosemary that I just peeled the leaves off the main stalk and left them big like this. And I'm going to grate a little bit of the lemon, just a little bit of the zest, and a little bit of juice. And we add some salt and pepper. And just a little bit of our extra virgin olive oil. If you don't want to use butter, you don't need to. You can just do this whole thing with olive oil, but I think the butter makes a really nice flavor. You just need to let the butter get a little bit room temperature so you can like mash it all up in your pesto thingy here. If you don't have one of these, don't worry, just cut up your rosemary and put it in a bowl instead, and just mix it up with a spoon or a fork, smashing it together. This is really great too with thyme, goes really well with chicken. Of course rosemary, you can do just lemon and pepper, it's really nice. Parsley is nice. See if I can think of anything else. You can do like a barbecue spice mix as well. What you want to do is feel on the inside of him, and you take your nail and you kind of start wiggling back and forth under the skin and just above the meat. And if you can see, it's kind of like weird looking, but that's my finger. And you just need to use your nail and you just separate. So there's a thin membrane that holds the chicken to the chicken meat with the chicken skin, and if you just poke it with your nail and then you can wiggle your finger up there, it's very easy to just separate the skin from the meat. And you want to do this before you try to get your spice mixture up there, otherwise you're just going to it's going to be too greasy to try to hold on to the chicken and everything. So just wiggle your finger as far in as you can get, and you can do it on the other side too. With the legs, what I usually have to do is make a slit with a knife and then wiggle my finger in there. So do from the front as well. You can just start pushing and it easily separates, so if it's not separating very easily, you're pushing in the wrong place. And you're supposed to try not to break the skin, but it's not that big of a deal if you actually break the skin. So after we've made some space in there, we're just going to take a handful of our butter rosemary stuff and stuff it inside the skin area. And after you get it in, you just move it around so that it gets over the whole section, the whole area of meat. If you're squeamish, I don't know, or you don't like knowing that this is something that's dead, and I don't think my mom would like to do this very much, I don't know, just because you're moving around and separating skin and stuff. I don't think it's so bad. I think it's kind of entertaining. Maybe there's something wrong with me, I don't know, but I find this whole thing just very entertaining. So in any excess like juice and stuff and the oil, I'm just going to put on top. I have a little bit of rosemary left over, the whole stalk, and then I'm just going to put that inside of him. And I'm going to take the lemon and put that in there as well. And you can also, so I also have a few cloves of garlic I'm going to put up there. You don't need to cut them or peel them or anything. You can just put those in there as they are. It'll steam the garlic and give a nice flavor to the chicken. Okay, now that we have our butter mixture up inside the chicken, and you can kind of see the lumps underneath the skin. I know it doesn't look that good, but it's going to taste really good, I promise. So we've got another half of a lemon up inside him and 2 cloves of garlic. And I'm just going to put a little bit more salt and pepper on the top of the skin, because it will make the skin get nice and crispy. So now we've got our chicken all done, and he's going to go in the oven for, I think, like 45 minutes. One of the easiest ways to tell when you're cooking poultry if it's done or not is that the skin around here will start separating, so you can see the bone, the leg. That's a really good handle if he's done. And also if you take the leg and try to break it off, it should just come off really easily. Then again, he's done. Or you can just have a thermometer and stick it in there. And what temperature is it at? Or you can have a thermometer that you stick in there to see what temperature. And poultry is done when it is 180 degrees Fahrenheit or 82 degrees Celsius. So the oven's hot now, and we're going to go ahead and put him in. And then I'm just going to cut up an onion and we'll get started on the rice. That's pretty much dinner for tonight. I don't really feel like filming all of the stuff with the rice. What I'm going to do is take half an onion and fry it in a pan, and then add rice and a chicken bouillon and let that cook as well. So, and then the salad is just to open a bag because I'm being lazy. So in with the chicken. I feel so domestic when I'm like roasting something. So yay, husband will come home and have like a nice proper meal after his hard day at work. Enjoy.